It is Powwow.
The Powwow with Mo podcast.
What up, and welcome to episode 25 of the Powwow with Mo podcast. I'm Mo.
I'm Powwow.
And if shit sounds different, it's because we're going to try to record with one mic.
Yeah.
Because we're planning on having a guest on next week, and we think it'll be easier that way.
For sure.
But we'll figure it out. If it sounds shitty, good luck listening. So, Powwow, what do we got going on this week?
So, a few things. One, I actually started coaching an 8 and under softball team here in Ada. One of our mutual friends, Chris, his daughter plays on it, and a few other people we know. They had asked me, and I got with the coach, and she had asked me to help coach because some of the other people don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
Which is perfectly fine. I understand you want to be there for your kid. I get it. However, I didn't realize how discombobulated these practices were going to be. And again, I understand first practice, that I was there, I don't really know what's been going on previously.
Right.
But the first thing I noticed is that when these kids are warming up, they start out like 25 feet away from each other, just hurling that ball. Again, you don't need a whole lot of knowledge to know these kids shouldn't do that. And you can tell which ones, such as the coach's kid, doesn't do that.
Right.
But they don't tell the other kids not to because the parents are like, you need to back up and throw the ball.
Right.
But they do have the funny thing where if they mess up, they have to go run to a tree and back. And we have this internal thing with the fraternity where they have to go stand by the tree.
Actually, it was just our pledge class, I think.
That's true, yeah.
Not really anybody else.
Where they had to stand by the tree. So I thought that was funny. But they make these kids go run to a tree and back, which is just, it's funny. But it is, it's fun to get back into the game and teach some young kids stuff that they really need to know. And I'm looking forward to playing, with these kids out on the field, make sure that they learn how to play the game. But I'll just be honest, it's already getting a little frustrating because, again, I'm used to coaching at least teenagers that have played the game for a little bit and understand basic fundamentals. And they really, half of them have either never played or don't play much. And probably I'd say the other half at least know somewhat of the game.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool because you could at least, like, you might be the one that's like, you got to keep your shoulders square with your knees.
Exactly.
And they remember it forever.
And that's honestly the coolest thing is being able to teach kids that.
The reason why I ended up sucking at baseball eventually, like I was okay for a while, but I never followed the ball with my eyes. Just never did.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Just never happened. Hit the ball just fine, but probably about midgets maybe.
Yep.
Or whatever league, age or range I was. It became a real problem where, like, I pulled up high early every time. I had, like, the Ken Griffey moon swing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I didn't hit it, I wasn't hitting it. If I did, it went far as fuck.
Yeah.
But, like, that was always a problem.
For sure.
So.
But, yeah, that's new. One other thing I want to bring up, we have, again, someone that we mutually know. His name is Wyatt. Told us that he started listening to our podcast this week.
He's a character from an old Western novel.
Right? So he told me that he started listening to it, and he goes, I want one thing to burn into your brain. And I go, what's up? And he goes, I listen to your podcast naked.
I imagine everyone does.
For sure. He says
we have such seductive voices.
Exactly.
I'm sure we're definitely arousing him.
Exactly right. I guess he listens to us when he takes a shower. That's about as far as I don't even want to visualize that. Really, that's just
start going in on Bernie Sanders and definitely get aroused from Wyatt.
Exactly right. But that's all that's been going on with me. But I did actually watch Thor Ragnarok this week.
How was that?
Honestly, first off, completely different feel and just tone in general from the other two. I do think...
Yeah, I heard it's cool.
I think they did try to put too many punchlines in there, but there was some pretty funny ones. It was nice to see Thor not being, I'm the god of thunder, and I don't talk very much except for dumbass lines.
So Thor 1 and 2, in my opinion, are the worst Marvel movies.
They're not that great.
Yeah.
Thor 1 to me is the worst. But this one, it was definitely different. I really liked it much more than the second one. Maybe it's because Hulk is in it a little bit more, and it's awesome to have Bruce Banner in there. But it does get a little crazier. If you haven't seen it, you've probably at least seen this. If you haven't, please mute it for just a second. But his hammer gets destroyed by Hela, which is his sister, he finds out.
Okay.
And pretty much you find out Odin, his dad, is just a liar. He literally covered up things that happened in the past. Like when they walk into their big throne room, that giant glass at the top that they have of all these treaties that he signed. Hela walks in and she goes, "You're literally covering it up," and she breaks it, and behind it, it's got this glass of him and Hela just destroying the 9 realms, which is how they got him under his control.
I see.
So really the premise is that she was used as the attack dog. When he got so far, he's like, all right, we got to stop. Okay, 9 realms is enough. We've destroyed a bunch of people's lives and killed people. And she goes, no, we're gods. We should kill and take over everything.
Understandable.
So he traps her, and then literally as soon as he dies, she comes back because he was the only thing holding her back was him being alive. But it is funny to see Thor not being able to be dependent upon his hammer, and it kind of helps him grow a little bit. But overall, decent movie. I wouldn't rate it like an A or anything. It was, a B minus at best, but it was a lot better than the first two. I'll probably watch it again to see if I missed a few things. Jeff Goldblum is in it. He has some funny parts as the Grand Master.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I might get around to it. Recently, I've watched some of the Marvel movies that I hadn't watched, so we'll see if it ever happens.
And it'll probably come on Netflix or something soon, because they all usually show up on their videos.
It might already be, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you see the video of there's a lady in Stillwater who was like a bail bondsman?
Oh my, yes.
And
I'm so glad you brought this up.
She shot this dude, and now, in my opinion, and we'll get into more details, she murdered someone.
Yes.
That is my opinion, but she has been acquitted.
Mm-hmm. Scot-free. Even though her son testifies that she lied about her statement that he was coming to attack her, and that's why she shot him.
Right. Well, eventually, I think she got off because she said, well, I feared for my son's life. And then it didn't really matter what the facts were, as long as she claimed she feared for her son's life.
I took my concealed carry course, and that was the thing that was burned into my brain, which is you say you were in fear of your life.
So, but yeah, she basically calls the guy in. She's like a little dog, the bounty hunter wannabe person, and I highly recommend people to YouTube some John Oliver bounty hunter segment. It really just opened my eyes to how it's pretty much one of the most shady industries. But anyway, calls this guy in to kind of set him up, and then was like, we're going to arrest you, and has her son in the room, and he has his like GoPro or something filming it.
Yeah.
And then when the guy's like, no, you're not arresting me, and he's a pretty swole dude, right? He's a big guy. And apparently he was going to jump off the 3rd-story window, which I'm like, I think you let him. You didn't figure out, you didn't secure the building.
That's on you.
He's away, right? But she brings a gun into the situation.
Because he's actually walking out of the room. She opens up her drawer where the pistol is.
Yes.
Gets it out, loads it, and then just shoots it.
Right. And sure, I think his hand went towards the gun in the video, it seemed. But if someone pulled a gun on me and I'm close enough, I'm trying to push the barrel down
I'm not
myself.
trying to get shot either.
Right. But anyway, kills him and just kind of gets let off scot-free. And I was just like, man, that's fucking crazy.
Well, again, and her son goes, you just shot him. Goes, yeah, I shot him. She has no remorse.
She goes, I did.
And you hear him go, holy shit, you shot me.
I mean, honestly, her reaction, I think, was like, I mean, that might be me too if I have an accident. She didn't mean to. I don't think she intended to. She got out of control real fast.
Well, I don't see at all where she needed to pull out the gun.
Right. Well,
if he's running away, let his ass run.
Honestly.
And get him for bail jumping.
I would put all my money, which isn't much, on, you could go to her Facebook page, and she likes a lot of profiles that post shit like, come to me, I got a gun, right? And I just think that sort of mentality is burning a lot of people, that they're like, there is a line and they're ready for you to cross it, and they have a gun for that reason. But see,
like, I obviously carry a gun. I do about every day.
Right.
But I'm not looking at all. Like, that's the last thing I want to do. And to me, it seemed like that was her first option.
Right.
She was ready to just shoot him. Again, he wasn't trying to attack her until she grabbed the gun, and you can't even, based on that GoPro, you can't even tell if he was trying to attack her then or, like you said, trying to get the gun away.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I don't know anything about the story before, and my wife just showed me the video, and I go, oh, so she murdered a man, and then she read me this story, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, I would say look it up if you haven't heard about that.
It is absolutely crazy, but I agree. That's nuts. So there's been some crazy things going on in the White House, so we'll just kind of bring up briefly. The first thing is that Trump fired the former head of the FBI 2 days prior to him retiring, Andrew McCabe, based on apparently evidence that Jeff Sessions has. I haven't done enough research to say whether or not there is a witch hunt here or whether there's actual...
Well, I guess this is the way I kind of think about it. Let's say there's a guy in town, and we're going to call him Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay? And then these cops are looking into Trevor for having a meth lab. And Trevor was all around being like, guys, I don't have a meth lab. This is ridiculous. I don't know why they're trying to bust me for a meth lab. Mm-hmm. And then eventually Trevor becomes mayor or whoever the fuck hires cops and is like, if you're looking into my meth labs that I don't have, I'm going to fire you.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. It just seems weird for sure.
I mean, he's just been, this week, White House been fire happy because Rex Tillerson, the now former Secretary of State, was also fired.
For sure. And I guess in my mind, if I had to guess right now what the truth is, I really don't think Trump, purposely colluded with Russia. I don't think that means his peoples didn't.
Or that he didn't take advantage of a situation.
Right. And I think a lot of people are just like, no, the original accusation wasn't that they tampered with votes. It's that they were on the internet promoting stories that were incorrect, and then us gullible Americans ate it up. That's all people said. And then it was like, that didn't happen. It's like, well, they proved that did happen.
Yep.
And so it's like, I don't know. I think if he would have took such a hard no at the beginning, maybe this would look a little better. Yeah. But,
I mean, I don't know. There's all kinds of
But then again, his supporters don't care.
No, not at all. I mean, there are conspiracy, because, the North Korean talks, it's going to be happening soon.
Well, when in the past, when anything like that's been brought up about a previous president, Trump and others would say things like, well, that makes you a weak president.
Yep, but of course, Trump, that means that I'm doing something great for this country.
There's a new video out of Fox News of the exact comparisons between Trump and Obama doing the exact same things and the different reactions. Totally worth a watch if you have not seen this video.
For sure.
It's amazing.
But yeah, it's just been crazy there in the White House. I'm going to leave them alone for a little bit. But I do want to bring up the thing that happened on Wednesday with the students walking out. Because there's now been some students that have been suspended from school due to walking out.
I was in a school when it happened. Just by happenstance.
So, do you know if there's been any repercussions?
Well, also by happenstance, I was in that same school another day, 2 weeks ago, and they thought it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then I overheard some teachers tell them, you can't just do it. You got to, have a message and a reason and stuff. And so, these kids, at least, and they're junior high age, they came over the intercom. That's the only reason I knew. And it actually worked out for me. I needed kids out of the way. So it worked out perfect. They came over the intercom and did a whole, this is in honor of the victims. They didn't say they'll pose guns. Mm-hmm. And it was think about what happened.
Because
they made it serious.
And it was 17 minutes. And again, we're not talking like they walked out.
And I was working, and it went quick. I was like, how long were they even out there, man?
And I think that you're like, oh yeah, now I'm going to suspend a student. And I get it. They walked out of class, and that's your strict policy.
Well, and so anyway, I think what made this scenario better is like I said, when I was there previously, these teachers were kind of like, if y'all be smart about it, we'll let you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, different administrations of different schools can handle it differently, but for my anecdotal evidence, it wasn't really it was a big deal to a 13-year-old, right? But
Yeah.
to me, I was like, oh, good for them.
Yeah, you're like, all right,
Cool.
I mean, again,
good job.
I mean,
Practicing your liberties.
and then you see all these people saying, well, maybe you should quit bullying kids.
Oh, good. I actually had that on my list.
Okay.
So here's my thing about that. A lot of people I see there, right? Bullying the weird kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I could be accused of doing that at some point in time in my life. Sure, I was bullied for being weird times in my life. It all happened. But what I've said previously on every other thing brought up about this whole gun thing, right, is that it happens in other countries. And guess what? Kids get bullied in every country on earth. It's just how the world works. And in other countries, those bullied kids don't come to school with guns and kill people. So I don't think that's the answer. But bullying, I think, has a place. And a lot of people I see sharing it, they are mean. They were mean, in high school and stuff. So it's like, well, you're a fucking hypocrite. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. I was reading this thing, actually, kind of reminded me there. So after Columbine happened, some schools had this whole policy where they wanted like the cool kids in school to go up to the weird goth kids and talk to them and try to be friends. And so some of those weird goth kids are now normal adults. So there's this article talking to some of those kids and how they were like, I hated that even more. Like, I was weird because I wanted to be left alone. Like, some of them weren't like ostracized as much as like, no, I just prefer that. Mm-hmm. And then so when some people go out of their way to overstep bounds, it made them even more angry. Yeah. And they were like, that would lead to kids coming up to them and be like, well, we're cool, right? So you're not going to shoot me. And then they'd be like, how's that supposed to make you feel? Exactly. Right? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that's probably not good either. So I don't think you can make like go out of your way and be yes, everyone should be nicer, but you know what? Yeah. It's not going to happen. No. Because at the end of the day, biology is going to make girls more attracted to guys who are assholes and like the alpha person, at least at that age, right? Until people smarten up a little. And guys are going to be dickbags to each other, and that's just how it's going to be. And girls are going to be catty with each other. Kind of like women will complain of like, well, we have to wear makeup or we got to buy money on this purse. And it's like, only other women are judging you for that. You're not doing it for men. So acting like it's sexist would be make sense if it was like men demanding. Yeah. Like, you better wear high heels. But no, that's women that care about that stuff to other women, right?
I'd rather know what you really look like so that way when I wake up in the morning. Right. You know what I'm saying?
My argument's always been, we have the disadvantage. I have to walk around like this all the time. I don't have like let's put on this layer.
I did see a meme, though, that it said women have their makeup and it shows James Harden with a beard shaved off. Yeah. And that made me laugh pretty hardcore.
It's true. A beard can help a chin. I have like a Jay Leno chin, so that's never been like a huge issue for me. Yeah. But right, if I have like one of those, and I'm sorry if you have one, like the no chin chins.
Like where it just goes almost inwards. Yeah.
Goes like to your neck or whatever. I would totally grow a beard. There's no question asked.
Grow something.
I'd have to.
For sure. Something else that I've seen this week is the Aral Sea, or Aral Sea. It's located over by Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. And anytime I hear those names, I can't ever remember the guy who was I think he was in the Senate, who's like Uzbekistan or something. I never remember.
It wasn't Ben Carson. It was the guy before him. I mean, I know that's so racist because they were just the black Republicans. Man, I saw someone with a bumper sticker too for him from back in that time period, just the other day. But yeah, I know what you're talking about 100%.
Yeah. So anyways, there is this sea over there that for about the past 15 years, it has had no fish, and it used to be just full of life, and it actually happened because of the Soviet Union draining water from there and feeding cotton crops, where it had so much of the water drained and that sediment and salt got in there that it actually killed all freshwater fish. Right. So it's recently, obviously through rain and getting fresh water in there, they've been able to restock it with fish, and it's literally caused a mass migration of people. It was around this, I think it's 25,000 square mile lake. It's the fourth largest freshwater lake in the world. To people to move because of this issue. Right. But now because of this, it is now, it's really having life added back to it. What it is for this is called pike perch. Never heard of it, but they look like a mixture between a pike and a perch. Is exactly what they are.
Who would have thunk it?
Exactly, right? But basically, they get just over $2 for every kilogram of these fish. And this guy got 35 kilograms in one day.
Sounds like a drug deal.
It's exactly
Because
right.
in America, we just don't use those
We
references.
don't use kilograms at all unless you're talking like cocaine or something like that, right?
Right.
But these people, I mean, they're saying it's teeming with life again. Excuse me, it's 26,000 square miles. And it's causing people to actually move back. And they're hoping that will help revive the area because it's just been isolated and desolate since that issue that happened back.
Till they need more cotton.
Exactly right. But it said that there was a quote from a man there that says, "The people destroyed the sea. The nature took revenge on the people." I don't know how it took revenge by putting life back in the.
Well, it did before, but now it's making it up.
Exactly right. But it's definitely.
It's almost like nature has this natural cycle that just all works out.
Yeah, but the reason I bring this up is it was actually how it started was an $86 million project by the World Bank. It says we need to revive this lake to bring it back. So bring that up just because that's one of the very few things I see that's awesome that the World Bank does. It's not going to make them much money
Right.
at the end of the day.
Well, I think we're about to go to war in North Korea, so there'll be one of the 3 countries left that doesn't have a World Bank in it that'll get one. So they're probably just feeling generous.
Yeah, they're like,
at the moment.
we need to get some tax write-offs before the end of the year.
All right, so I have a fun one for you, and I've covered my phone.
Yeah.
Spell Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops?
Yes.
As in the cereal?
Yes.
Okay. FRUITLOOPS?
Incorrect.
Okay.
It is FROOTLOOPS.
Fruit Loops.
Right, and it's okay. So
Farouk? Like Farouk.
right, so it's Fruit Loops, double O's, right, and they have little cereal O's for the O's.
Yeah.
And to me, it's always been that or whatever. But I guess there's this thing I think it's called the Mandela effect. Could be wrong.
Mhm.
Where like just everyone remembers something wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like there's this whole generation. And I guess we're not in it, or I'm not in it. In yours, I think you just were literally trying to spell fruit.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to do.
That they remember in their childhood when Fruit Loops changed from the OOT to the UIT. And they all claim, like, you know, they're just this generation that are like, it happened. I was a kid and it happened. But now it's back to Fruit Loops. So they're like, when did it change back? And then, like, all evidence is like, there has never been a box that existed this other way. There's a few other things, like our generation, for whatever reason, we all remember a movie where Sinbad played a genie.
Oh, man. I know. I've seen that all over the place.
We haven't, like, it never happened. We watched Kazam. We saw the Sinbad cartoon that had stuff like that. And Sinbad was in First Kid. But we all remember this movie with him in a genie outfit.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen. I just think that stuff's all crazy.
Agreed. That's a little nuts.
Let's see. Also saw where Oklahoma's bringing back gas chambers.
Oh, damn.
Have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So, you know, because we want to still kill people. And
yeah.
I get it, man. When someone's real crazy, that's all he can do.
But there's always the problem where people have been incarcerated incorrectly.
Right. Well, even if they admit to it and they're fully that, like, I think it's a worse punishment to have to grow old and know about what you did. I don't know. I just think it is. Sure, it costs money.
Exactly.
It costs money. I mean, my grandpa drilled my head as a kid, like, 50 cents on, take care of it, right?
Oh, my God.
That was his whole thought process. He was a correctional officer. But anyway, so we're going to do nitrogen gas chambers to kill inmates because they can't get that drug anymore they used to inject people in. And we're going to be the first people to do that. I could be wrong. I want to say first gas chamber since the Holocaust. But there could have been one in between. Who knows? I'm sure North Korea's fucked with them a little bit.
They don't count, though. Them in South America, when it comes to their torture tactics, they've got it down. They do not count.
So I don't really know enough probably
like first world countries that have done this.
For sure.
No one does it except for us.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then Snappy asked me to double check some random meme this week. Research this, and it was dumb. But if y'all are curious, something kind of on that basis, there's this website called mediabiaschart.com, and I'm going to try to stick to it. I think it was this woman, maybe a guy, I don't really know. I read it as a woman was writing it, but I have no idea what it was. Basically made this graph of news sources, and she's updated, so it's like the third issue now because she's added more news sources. And it's like left and right, so if they're more liberal or conservative. And then top to bottom is like, are they news? Is it opinion about news? Is it like opinions on distorted news? And then is it not really news, right? And so like in the middle is like the AP, and I'll actually do USA Today, and it was like in the middle, almost at the top of the news thing. So it's like, oh, cool. But they have some opinion pieces. Whereas in Fox News is like statistically majority opinion things. And like their actual news guy, I don't remember his name right now. He comes on like 6 o'clock or whatever. He's just like their main guy, just pretty honest. And he said like, I don't even watch the other ones because they're not news. And like he's on their channels. He's like, they make stuff up. He's like, that's entertainment. But anyway, this thing kind of decides it what it's like. InfoWars, for instance, at the very bottom right. It's this is not real and it's super conservative. So I'm gonna try to use this chart like some like Occupy Democrats was way bottom left, not real news. I see people share that stuff all the time. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to trust that now because if it's made up shit, it's made up shit. So anyway, if anyone's interested in getting like figuring out who's biased where, I recommend MediaBiasChart.com.
Heck yeah. So want to bring up Bitcoin for a second. I know it's kind of been the hot topic for some people whether they should be investing in it or not.
John Oliver brought it up last week.
And I think it's crazy that he brings this up. Because in December, it had record highs. Everyone was trying to get into it. They wanted to make that money.
Yeah, it dropped off a lot since then.
So fast.
Yeah.
So fast. Now it's coming to the point where they call it a death cross, which basically just means that your short-term averages fall below your long-term level average, which is that's a bad. I mean, because they're saying the 50-day average is now about to hit below their 200-day.
Right.
So it's pretty much to the point where they're saying, once you hit this line, you can't recover.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's real, but it's not. Just like all money.
Yeah.
Like it has value. At least this is how John Oliver gets to it. So I'm sure I'm stealing something there. It has value because people think it has value.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And then there's like 200 other currencies that popped up recently, and like Dogecoin, which is like it was a make believe. Not really make believe, like a parody. Like they were trying to be funny and be stupid. It's quadrupled in value since they made it, and it's like not even trying to be real. But now that people think it has value, it does. So, but again, the same can be said about our currency. After we took it off the gold standard to, well, it's just based on what our economy is worth, and then you're like,
such a great idea.
How do we decide what that is? We'll figure it out, and then it just like kind of just depends on opinions or whatever. So none of it's really set. So I have nothing against Bitcoin. I don't think, and John Oliver kind of gets in this as well, Bitcoin isn't the thing that's crazy. It's the blockchaining technology where like it's not stored on one computer. It's stored on like thousands of computers across a network. So like there's no way to like hack it.
Yeah.
And so like that's going to lead to a lot of cool computing things in the future.
For sure.
But I don't know if Bitcoin's going to last.
No, I doubt it will. I mean, they're saying that another day like it had this past week, and then that'll be it. There's already people rushing off selling it, but they're saying, don't sell it right now because it could, not hit that barrier. But to me, if you're coming that close where you're a day away from losing everything, I would have gotten rid of it in December. Honestly, if I had the money whenever you were like quadrupling or I don't know, it got stupid high there for a moment. I would have sold everything I had at that point. But
there's talk, so that's why Richard Silverman got rid of his agent, was because he had early Bitcoin and he sold it when it was real high, and that's why this offseason he didn't really care. He just wanted to go to like a good team. It's all rumor, but I was like, that's interesting.
He signed with the 49ers, by the way.
Yeah, and some people think he got overpaid, some people say he got underpaid, and
John Lynch must have made a hell of a good sale.
All right, so I'm sure you saw, and I didn't want to bring it up, or I should have earlier, I guess, is where a teacher shot a kid on accident in a class this week. And then my favorite meme reaction was like, well, if the kid had a gun. My God, it's great.
That's...
And then St. Patrick's Day was this week.
It was? And I did not wear green yesterday.
I didn't either at all. And I love green's my favorite color. And I just didn't. I was painting an end table, and then I went to your house. By then, I had like a shower and just threw on like shorts and a shirt, and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But just a little St. Patrick's Day history is everyone thinks he got snakes out of Ireland, right? And that's why there's no snakes in Ireland. When in actuality, there's never been snakes in Ireland. And the snakes they talk about are pagans because he killed them. He killed a bunch of pagans. That's why he is St. Patrick. So
Gotcha.
I'm not saying you can't drink and enhance your stereotype of being Irish or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where all that comes from. So
Yeah.
I found it interesting.
I also wanted to bring up Easter Island. I know that was a big thing when we were watching Ancient Aliens. With those Easter Island heads that they have out there. But it's at risk of collapsing due to global climate change. There's parts of the island that have already fell. And when we watched the video, those heads were very close to the edge of some of those, I guess you would call it drop-offs.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, to me, at this point, you go, okay, we should preserve these things. Let's just take them out of there. But some people are probably like, no, let's leave them there and see how it goes. But I don't think that's a great decision at all. But they believe that it could happen within the next 50 years, where there would be no more beaches, and it would just half of it would fall into the ocean due to climate change because it's slowly eroding away, which would suck because there's a lot of basis of the ancient astronaut theory. There's a lot of that on that island. That just sucks. But again, climate change, it's not real, so I don't think we should have to, worry about it.
Well, and I think totally. I mean, on topic, off topic, at the same time. I think that's where people mess up. I think conservatives, or the people who say climate change is real, they should say it's real, but it's not man-made, because that's like the liberal side is our man-made stuff is making it harsher or whatever, right? Speed up.
Everything has a limit,
and they're always like, it ain't real, none of it. And it's like, well, I mean, now in my unscientific brain, I do think the Earth takes care of it. Now I don't think it's going to be a quick turnaround like our human brains might want it to be, but I do think if there is more water, there will be more clouds. If there is more clouds, there is more cloud cover, and then the Earth will get a little cooler.
Yeah.
And eventually catch up. But I'm sure that would take thousands of years.
Of course, yeah. Way after our lifetime.
So, anyway. I guess we'll get into... I have a couple more things, but I want to look into them more before I bring them up. But this week, there was a new music video that came out. And I haven't been into music videos in a while. But it really restored my faith in a good music video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone really takes time to have a dumb little story... and a fun little song, music video can be fun. And Lil Dicky and Chris Brown have this song. Now, a lot of people are mad that Chris Brown's even on the song because he hits women, and I get it. But you know what? The song's good. They even bring that up to a certain extent in the song. But it's called Freaky Friday, and it's the same plot as the movie Freaky Friday, where Chris Brown and Lil Dicky get their bodies switched.
Yeah.
Hilarious video. Funniest music video I've seen since, like, the Lonely Island video. I think it's the best use of the N-word in a rap song ever.
It was, I watched it last night with you, and it was, the video itself was awesome, but I agree with that statement.
Now, the song's nothing without the video, so take that for what it is, You know what I mean? But rap videos for so long have been just, here's a guy swaying around, throwing his hands while he raps to a verse, and I get it, that's what I would do too. But having this was a lot more fun. So anyway, that was a pretty cool
thing. I do want to bring up the history breaking that happened this week in the NCAA tournament. They just busted everyone's bracket. Because I've seen where it says there are now 0 perfect brackets in the ESPN league because of this.
Well, I had the Loyola upset. I had a couple of them, but yeah, I didn't have that one.
Because this is the first time a number 16 seed, which is UMBC, which is the University of Maryland, Baltimore County,
right?
Defeated Virginia. And this, it's not like it was like, a 70-72 game. This was a 74-54 blowout.
See, Arizona got blown out too. And they were like a dark horse to win it.
And so, it was crazy, and it is awesome to finally see a number 16 team. Because they were always like, that'll never happen. Right. Because I know when I've always watched Colin Cowherd's, like, you always take the number 1s to your Final Four. It's just how it works. And I think it's funny that they just got not only beat, but just dominated.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring it up because I've not been into this whole March Madness. I didn't fill out a bracket this year, but I've been trying to keep up with some of it. But that was awesome to see that 16 seed finally beat a number 1. Also in the sports world, I'm just going to let you know right now the Detroit Lions are winning the Super Bowl this year.
Who'd they get?
They got LeGarrette Blount.
That'll do it.
The running back for the last 2 Super Bowl champions. That's the only reason that they win, because he's on the team.
Maybe.
I am happy they have at least an okay running back. He is getting older. Obviously, I think he's in his. I want to say he's in his mid-30s. Maybe it's his early 30s. I could be wrong. I feel like he played for Tampa Bay forever.
Yeah.
But it is great because Matt Patricia, the new head coach, who came from the Patriots, he is just getting some people that you just don't really pay attention to.
Defensive coordinator, the weakest part of their game last year. I think he has a lot to live up to. We'll see.
I agree.
I'm just so excited my team kept Blake Bortles. I'm just going to ride that one out.
We'll see how. At least they didn't grab Case Keenum like the Broncos did, and that's what they're banking on their new franchise quarterback.
It's true. So I beat Persona 5 finally.
Sweet.
So last week I was like, I got one boss left, and that was wrong. Now that boss was really hard. Like, it took me a few hours to beat this boss. But then it was like, oh no, that didn't solve the problem. And then there was a whole other month of gameplay, and then a whole other boss fight. But then I finally beat it. And then I immediately wanted to start another one to do what I missed. But I was like, no, I'm not getting back into this. I started Final Fantasy 12, like I mentioned last week. Pretty sure it's going to be the first game in a long time that I'm just going to sell 10 minutes into the game. Because, I forgot how much I hate the combat system to that game. And they've up-resed it a lot on the PS4 version. It looks good. But I'm like, yeah, this really... I really hate this. And I think it would just be better if I just took it to one of these little used game stores we have in town. Just try to get what I can for it. I just really don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I did start Telltale's Batman game. The people in The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones games and all that. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't like Batman, but it's pretty good. Might stick with it. We will see. And I kind of just want to buy another game. Because I'm like, nothing's really seeming like the game I want to play at the moment. And I have spring break this week. So, fucking want to do that.
Gotta have something to do, right?
Right. And then, TV-wise, the only thing really new I watched was Atlanta. Still really good. It's too short. I honestly, if you haven't watched the second season yet, I would say almost waiting and binging is probably better. Because they just go so fast.
Yeah.
But it's really good. And then I watched nothing but a bunch of stand-ups all week. Stand-up specials because we're for our top 5 list this week. I've watched probably way too much, but the end, if something wasn't real good, I just wasn't laughing. It was not worth it.
Done.
Yeah. So, anyway, you got anything else?
I do not.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Hopefully, our one mic recording hasn't sounded horrible.
Yeah.
We did get it, and someone did email us this week. So we will read that when we get back.
For sure.
And then our top 5 is top 5 favorite stand-up comedians.
All right.
All right, and we're back. So, Powwow, what you got to do?
All right. So, if anyone has any suggestions, corrections, or ideas, please email us at thepowwowwithmo@gmail.com. That is THEPOWWOWWITHMO@gmail.com.
All right, and this week we got 2 emails. One person, Snappy.
What up, Snappy?
First email he said, "What's up? You called me cousin. I do not do research when I share, or basically unshares unresearched material, and it entertains him, so that's why he does it. And I completely understand entertainment. I enjoy InfoWars, Alex Jones, because it's entertaining, but I don't believe it, and I think a lot of people who see these things do believe it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't really care. You can do what you want to do.
For sure.
That's how I feel. And then, yes, June 26th, state question, 788. Vote yes. And I think you have a good point, Snappy, that if they just legalize pot and tax it, maybe they could pay the teachers. It seems like that would be a decent solution. But we would mess it up somehow.
Agreed. Just like the lottery, we screwed that one to all hell.
Right. I agree.
So,
and then he says, so they had, I don't know what you're trying, there's some little typos there. Anyway, so basically they had a pike retreat around 2000 to 2004, somewhere in that area. And they camped in Hugo, got a few kegs, and decided to go to a strip club in Paris, Texas that wasn't too far away. So they loaded up 2 kegs and headed to a full nude bring your own beer club called Baby Dolls. And this itty bitty blonde spun around Snappy's neck, and he swears every 0.8 seconds a shaved vagina went by his face. He had a good time.
I would hope so with that time frame there.
Upon entry, he said they rolled 2 kegs in because it was bring your own beer. They drank and got dances, and the cops got called, and they got kicked out because they brought beer over state lines. So
it's just messed up.
Yeah, eventually I might have to tell like random strip club stories because from 18 to 19 that was a thing.
Yeah,
and then there wasn't really any in Ada. There was a fun one for a minute. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't good.
It wasn't a strip club. It was just a fun time to drink.
It was a barn with girls trying to get naked.
They ended up getting burned down.
Right, and then he has a second email.
Yeah. So on the second email, he does mention he brought us a new listener, which we do appreciate that. KV, who's actually going to be fighting this coming Saturday in Atoka. I believe this is his 3rd professional fight. I could be incorrect there.
Yeah, and Snappy, hit me up so we can figure out what time we need to leave, who's driving, where from, all that.
But KB is our fraternity brother. It's actually Mo's little in the fraternity. And again, he's going to be on next week to talk about his fight and about some MMA stuff. He was listening to the episode 4, which was movies. He said a big-time movie in college is The Way of the Gun. And he said the first 20-minute one-liners he'll never forget. Sorry, Snappy, I have never heard of this movie. I looked it up to see maybe if I would see some of the cast that I would know it. Nope. There's only one person I know on this cast, and that is Benicio del Toro, and that's just from commercials. The rest of these people, I can't tell you.
What's the movie poster look like?
Here we go.
Yeah, not something I'm familiar with.
I've just never seen. But I may end up looking it up online, trying to watch the first 20 minutes because you said it's got that many one-liners just to see how funny it is. Again, Snappy, we appreciate you listening as much as you do and sending in emails. Anyone else, please send us those again, whether you have suggestions, corrections, ideas, or just you want to tell us we were wrong about something, you're welcome to do that as well.
Because we probably are.
Right.
All right, the story this week, because eventually we're going to have to get into, like, I got arrested, and they're pretty fun stories too. But I think I had to start back in high school, my first, like, run-in with real cop situation. So I was 17, I will say. I think I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got back from camp.
Yep.
Or whatever. And we all got together at my friend Jonathan's uncle's house that was empty because his uncle had Parkinson's and lived with him. So no one lived at that house. And we got all this beer, and I remember being Coors, normal Coors, like not light. Because when you're a teenager, you don't understand, like, you want to go with the light beer.
Yeah, you don't.
You just don't know that, right? So I had normal Coors, very filling. And a bunch of Boone's Farm.
I remember Boone's Farm. It was so delicious tasting.
It was good.
But you would get sicker than a dog from all that sugar.
Yeah. So we had all that. I remember there were females there. And I remember it was when Neo first blew up because So Sick was playing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I love that Neo song, right? But anyway, and all the girls left. And then it was like 3 a.m. And Dew and Jonathan, and there was this other kid named Aaron who just left. We were like, man, they're like, we're hungry. Let's go to the truck stop because it's a 24-hour place. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's dumb. We've been drinking. And they were like, oh, it'll be okay. And this is the first time, not the first time I was ever drunk, but like one of the first like 5 times I was probably like pretty okay drunk. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So I go with them. And Jonathan drives. And we get there. And we order our food. And then Dew spills his water all over himself. And then the guy working was a classmate of ours, or he was a grade older than us, but we knew him well, right? And he comes over to clean it up, and he brings a wet washcloth. And Jonathan, being drunk, is like, you fucking idiot. That's water. You don't need a wet washcloth. You're a fucking idiot. Just over and over.
Oh,
and
man.
this guy also weighed like over 300 pounds. So he was like, you fat fucking idiot.
Oh, my God.
And I remember laughing and being like, shut up.
Exactly.
Right?
I know you're drunk, but shut up.
And then Dew's laughing a little bit, right? But me and Dew are pretty cool. Jonathan's a little more drunk than us. And then I remember cops show up. I remember this all very well. So cops show up and they talk to Jake, who was the guy at the counter. And Jake was telling the story. He goes, yeah, these girls were in here harassing me earlier. And I remember thinking like, hey, no way. Girls were in here harassing you earlier. And I was like, something's up. But I didn't really think anything of it, right? So we eat our food. And then we leave. And as soon as we leave, and we get on the highway, cop lights come on and we get pulled over. And then, you know, all the guys in the car, they're like, we're not saying we drank, period.
Yep.
We are holding true that we did not
We're gonna
drink.
stick together. Yeah, I get it.
All right. So they pulled Jonathan out first because he's like, I got a shotgun in the truck. We do have a weapon, blah, blah, blah. Pull Jonathan out first. And then dude's like, yeah, we're not going to say anything. And they pull Dew out. And then when I get out, I'm third one. The cops, you know, are like, well, your friend's already admitted to it, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, this is dirty cop chicks.
Yep, we watched Law & Order SVU. We get how this works.
Exactly. So I was like, well, no, we didn't drink. Or I said I didn't drink, right? I say real, I mean, I 100% stated that. And they got real pissed. And because of that, and because the other two already did fucking fess up, they got real mad at me. And then they act like we all get in trouble because I didn't tell the truth. And then my friends are pissed at me because they're like, if you would have told the truth, we wouldn't have got in trouble. And it's like, yeah, we would have.
Yeah, we're already there.
So anyway, they call all of our parents to come pick us up at 3:30 in the morning off the side of the road to take us home. And then we had to do community service, which was washing fire trucks, but I had an academic meet that day, so only Dew and Jonathan had to do it. I didn't have to. But that was my first run-in with cops, and it was not a pleasant experience. Everyone was yelling and screaming, and it was like, if you were nice about it, maybe we could have been cool, but you were all crazy. And then even now, because I saw that dude, Jake, within the last year, because he works somewhere still in my hometown, and if I had a gun, I would have thought about shooting it. I'm still pissed. Like that's why I don't need a gun. I hold grudges forever. I'm still like, you're a piece of shit and I hate you. And it didn't really have that negative of effect in my life at the end of the day. Yeah. I didn't work shit. But I'm still like, nope, I hate you forever. And I always will.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to move on to our top 5 list. Again, we went with top 5 favorite stand-up comedians.
Yep.
This one was real hard. I have a list of like 40 people, and that was after I cut it down from a lot. And this could really go anyway. I could probably swap out a bunch of people and still feel pretty good about my top 5 list.
I bet you could. I mean, I assumed you probably got like 40 or 50 on there.
Yeah, I mean, I really did try to knock it down as best I could for honorable mentions, but we'll see how that goes. But all right, Paolo, go ahead and start with your number 5.
So my number 5 is going to be Wanda Sykes.
It's a good one. I didn't even think of her.
Really?
I don't think of her as a stand-up comic. I think of her as an actress.
I can see that.
But I know she is. I know she has. I don't know how long. It's probably been a while since I watched a Wanda Sykes special.
The last time I think I remember watching, and she may have had newer ones, but I remember in 2009, I think is what it was, and I'll have to look it up. But I believe that was it, and I just remember watching it and just cracking up laughing the entire time.
She has a cool voice.
And I think that also helps deliver it. But I've just watched her. I know she came from the Chris Rock show, and that's kind of where she started her, I guess, comedy at and moved on from there. But she just, and I really do think you're right. It does have to do with the voice and the way she delivers punchlines that make it funny for me. But I was looking through my list, and I just was thinking about how many times these people make me laugh. Like, I could watch their special and just laugh.
Right.
She's one of those people that I would do it 90% of the time. So I had to have her as number 5.
Right. And, okay, so my number 5, I have like 2 people. I can't figure out what I want to go with.
Just throw it out there. Whichever one, whatever you feel in your heart.
Just to be politically correct, and you had a female, so I have a female. I'm going to go with Sarah Silverman.
That's a good choice.
Tom Segura is my other choice, so I'll talk about it later. I really like Sarah Silverman. I think she is attractive, so as a kid, I think that's probably what I was like, I'm watching that stand-up special.
Yeah.
She talks about really messed up stuff. I just watched her newest stand-up special last night. She has this whole story about her sister, and she really pitches it like, I don't want to really joke. You know, watch her new stand-up special. She has a story about her sister that's so good.
Okay.
So good. It's like the quintessential Sarah Silverman joke where you think she's serious, or you think, it's going one direction, and then she just flips it, and you're like, I did not see it go in there. Like, she's just really good at those jokes. I also like her stand-up more than, like, say, when she has a show on Hulu, and it's okay, but I kind of just prefer her stand-up style better, where she's kind of like a weird, over-sexualized Jewish girl or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I really like Sarah Silverman. Big fan.
For sure. So my number 4 is going to have to, and this is not including the new one because I did watch the new one. I laughed literally 0 times. And that's going to be Katt Williams.
Yeah. I mean, I think Katt Williams presents whatever. The one after Pimp Chronicles, I really like that one. Pimp Chronicles was okay. Anything after the one I said I liked, I was out. I was out on Katt Williams.
You're talking about American Hustle?
Yeah. I mean, because his other people were funny on it that he had.
That one, I don't remember her name, the chunkier chick.
Yeah.
She was just hilarious.
Well, we quote that one dude with strong neck all the time.
My baby ain't got no loose neck.
But yeah, I mean, Katt Williams is good. I really dislike his new stuff, though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm going purely on...
Now, he's on episode 1 of Atlanta of this new season.
Oh, is he?
That is one of the most well-acted characters I've ever seen.
Really?
And I would never think that. And the whole time watching, you could ask my wife, I was like, fuck, he is killing this. Like, maybe Donald Glover just wrote the perfect role for him or what, but like, because you do like Katt Williams, like, it's worth just watching that episode. It's like his... That
may, like, trigger me to...
It's like his uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
Katt Williams, who's, like, the main rapper guy's dad. And he's like, that's a crocodile man. He's like, oh, I got a crocodile. I mean, it's so good. But anyway, stand-up-wise, he has one I really like.
Yeah, so. I mean, American Hustle, I mean, that one's just... I liked Pimp Chronicles, but me and you watched American Hustle I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
Because he come out every day, I'm hustling. And, I mean, he would talk about how his dance moves with... he'd be grocery shopping, and that's how he dances.
Right.
He kills it. But again, I watched his new one that came out this year.
My wife has a friend
Not that funny.
who loves him, and we had to watch the HBO special when she was here. And I mean, there were parts that were like, I get what he's going for, but he's all like, he has this whole part where he gets real religious. It was like, I know God's real because I prayed and look where I'm at. That's why atheists are wrong. And I'm like, you got your ass beat by a middle schooler within a year ago.
Hardcore.
Before you recorded this. It's like you freely promote prostituting out women, and you're over here being like, and God's what made me. And I'm just like, I don't know. I find it weird. Like, I find it weird when Nicki Minaj or whoever gets on stage is like, I showed my ass, but it's all for Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's always a weird concept. So I'm not saying he's not funny, but something about his personality, I'm always like, I don't get it.
No, I mean, it is definitely... I don't look at it outside. I look purely, and it's really from the Pimp Chronicles and American Hustle more than anything else.
Right, I understand.
But those ones, I absolutely
And I couldn't do that, like, because I would have, spoiler, I would have had Chris Rock, but because I've watched his newest one,
agree.
I was like, I couldn't, because his newest one's so bad.
Oh, again, both of them, because I've watched this newest one whenever I was in Duncan. I was just like, I don't.
Yeah.
It's just not making me laugh anymore.
Right. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so my number 4 is someone that he's been around a while, but really I've gotten more into him recently because of Netflix, I guess. And is Bill Burr.
Okay.
Now, he has a cartoon I love as well called F is for Family on Netflix. But I really, really like Bill Burr. Now, I think the reason I like him more now than when he was younger is because he's always had this old man personality, and now he's getting to be more of an old man.
Yeah.
So it fits a little better or whatever. But I think Bill Burr is someone that, like, everyone can like. Like, I think the most conservative person could listen to Bill Burr and enjoy him, and the most liberal person could listen and enjoy. Like, even though he's like this angry white guy sort of caricature that's like a stage presence, he's really good. And then I learned on Crashing, because he was on it, that his new wife's black. So I think that probably gives him a lot of leeway in jokes, right? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I really like Bill Burr. He has a newer stand-up special, but my favorite one I can think of on Netflix, I can't remember what it's called, but it's in black and white. So if you find Bill Burr and you see one that's in black and white, to me, that was the first one I watched and was like, oh yeah, he's really funny. Like, he has this whole bit about guns or whatever, and how, like, he thinks it's more dangerous to have a gun if you have a robber come in. And so, like, or about having a big gun, because he's doing this show in Texas. He's like, I have a little gun by my bed.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. He's like, I got this little gun. He's like, here in Texas, y'all laugh at my little gun. He's like, y'all got what? 44 Magnum or whatever, and they're all cheering and stuff. And he's like, yeah, bad idea. He's like, say a burglar comes in, and your dogs all go around, someone's in the house. You reach for your gun. Guy opens the door. Boom. You shoot. You miss. Now you're blinded. You're deaf. Your ears are ringing. He's like, you don't know what the hell's going on. And so it was, I don't know, but he's still like always on the conservative side. Like on Crashing, I don't think he's done a real set with it. He has this whole bit about abortion. He's like, be cool with abortion. Just admit it's murder. So like he's taking like a really weird stance. Yeah. But it's so funny to me. So I really, really enjoy Bill Burr. If it was like just recently, he would still be on the list. But there's like a lot of everything above this are like historically, or whatever. But if it was just right now, I'm trying to have different people maybe up there. But anyway, he's still somewhat relevant because he still makes specials. Yeah, you know what I mean.
So my number 3 is going to be Joe Rogan.
It's a good one. I didn't put him, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I know. I got into him living with you, and we watched some of his stand-ups that he had.
He had an early Netflix special called, I think, just Joe Rogan Live.
I think that was a Joe Rogan Live.
And that was back, it was when Netflix first started streaming.
Yeah.
And we watched it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, because he was talking about when he was the host of Fear Factor, and he was like,
eat those dicks.
I'll just be screaming, keep eating them dicks. Yeah. Go. Because they pay me for this shit.
Right, and I think... I know definitely to us, we didn't know he'd done stand-up comedy.
No.
At that time, to us, he was the Fear Factor host / UFC guy.
I was like, yeah, that's exactly it.
To my wife, she's watched 3 or 4 of his specials with me, and she's still like, yeah, but he's not like a stand-up. I'm like, yeah, that's what he does.
To me, he is.
But also listen to all of his podcasts, and he talks about it. Like, you can tell that's what he loves. That's how he identifies.
Yeah.
So I think of him that way. But I could see people that just have never seen his stand-up probably don't know.
Yeah, he has out of all of these people, he has a different type of comedy than these other people.
Well, he does like a sort of thinking, like, isn't this crazy? And then he goes to like a Sam Kinison yelling moment.
Exactly.
It's like a weird mixture.
He's just different. And that's why I really like him. I know my sister and her boyfriend, when they went to Colorado, they went and watched his special there.
The Mild High special or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever it was. And they thought it was just absolutely awesome.
Right.
I would love to go watch him live, but I like him truly. But yeah, Joe Rogan, number 3.
All right. My number 3 is Louis C.K.
I have liked him. I didn't like him near as much as you did. I know some people may be like, oh my God, you have someone who's part of,
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, I'll just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. He jerked off in front of people, and I know it's swear, but like, if you look at the story from one angle, it's he stood in front of a doorway and jerked off and forced women to watch him. But another angle, it's he asked them, and they said yes, and he didn't realize they were saying yes because they felt forced to. Now, I'm not saying that makes him right, but there's other female comedians, because I got brought up on Joe Rogan's podcast, who have said, like, when he was young and like, before he was famous, he would do the same thing in a comedy club. Like, you want to go to the bathroom while I jack off in front of you? And they'd be like, sure. And they thought it was funny. And so, like, if he came up in a culture like that and didn't realize, like, well, once now I'm mega famous, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So that's me giving the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's a total creep. I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, I care, but, like, for this list, I'm going just off of their stand-up material. I really enjoyed how he joked about really awkward stuff.
He did.
Like, someone else that almost in my list is Anthony Jeselnik, and he's to me like the next guy like that. Like Anthony Jeselnik, his every joke is to offend. Period. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't write a joke unless it's going to offend someone. Like, and Louis C.K. is not quite that extreme, but he's going to say some weird stuff. Like he's going to talk about rape and weird things. Yeah. And you're like, and now it's weirder to watch. I get it.
It is,
but at the time, it was like he just had such a take on things. You're like, that's crazy. And then he only just wore like a black shirt all the time and jeans. Like he wasn't trying to look fancy. And I was like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And he looked normal. He's just like a normal dude. Mm-hmm. And so there's something about all of that I was like, man, this dude's so funny. For sure. I really like him. Now, if he quits making stand-up specials, I'm sure he'll drop down my list.
Yeah.
But
I'm assuming he'll be kind of blackballed for a moment. But I don't know. I mean, I hope he does bounce back again. It depends on what side you're looking at it. I agree.
Right. I mean, he has 2 daughters, and so I feel like he'll always be able to like, well, through my 2 daughters, and I've thought about my scenario, and
yeah,
I'm gonna change whatever. I don't know. We'll see.
Number 2 for me is going to be Martin Lawrence.
That's a good one.
I don't know why, but for a long time now, I've been watching some of his old, obviously from like mid 90s or so. I think it's You So Crazy is the first one that kind of hooked me into it. He has, like, obviously a lot of comedians, use profanity and vulgar, but he like almost takes it to a new level sometimes.
Right.
Like I just remember this one part where he's like, you ever get that pussy that's just so good you start crying? And I'm like, that's just funny to me. But it's his crazy antics on stage that help with it to me, I guess. To me, I have to have a whole show. For me to, I mean, yes, you can tell me punchlines, but if I'm just listening to it on I don't know, a podcast or something, I don't know if I'd laugh near as much.
Right.
But watching it on YouTube or whatever else that I'm doing it, he just I've watched, I think there was one from 2015 or 16 recently. Doing time, that was it, somewhere in this time frame. It wasn't as funny, it's still funny, but some of those older ones where he just gets crazy talking about it.
I haven't seen any of the old ones. The only Martin Lawrence special I've seen was one I was probably in high school, we were in college, that'd be in the 2000s.
Yeah.
But I loved Martin the TV show.
Yes.
Like I loved it as a kid, but I never really watched his stand up. So I just don't think of him necessarily as a stand up, but I know he has specials.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I do ask you should try to watch just one of those older ones and see what you think of it. Because, like I said, it's similar to the rest of my people how I chose him. But I think his older comedy to me is absolutely hilarious. Obviously, I have to listen to it with headphones on because I can't be around my kids.
Right.
Because every 5 seconds there's some cuss word dropped.
Yeah.
But it cracks me up. He walks out in the all leather outfits and takes off of the lovely 90s 50 different colors on your shirt.
Right.
Style, and that just, I don't know, I guess it's slightly nostalgia for me as well looking at it, but I really like him as a stand-up comedian. I love his movies, but he's got to be my number 2.
All right, my number 2 is Dave Chappelle.
That's a great one.
And I mean, his show is amazing, but I'm just like, not even counting, just off of stand-up specials. I really, really enjoy Dave Chappelle's stand-up specials, and I feel like his new ones are good enough to where he didn't damage any legacy. If anything, I think some of the jokes are great. A lot of people hate on his whole like transgender jokes and not really backing down from it, but I think they're great. I don't know.
To me, you have to stick with what you are.
Right.
You can't just change it.
I just think you're allowed to joke about anything. I do not think there is such thing as off limits.
Agree. When it comes to comedy.
Right. Like, and I mentioned him earlier, but I'm going to do it again. Anthony Jeselnik on his special, because I watched it this week, he has this challenge where he tries to make a joke about a tragedy the day it happens. And like he was saying, and they're so good. But anyway, watch his too. But Dave Chappelle, I mean, he's great. He's somehow become like a voice of truth for like black culture or whatever. Like I enjoy Dave Chappelle, but like all my black friends are like, if Dave Chappelle says it, then that's what
it is,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's interesting. I don't feel that way about any white person. But Dave Chappelle across the board is great. His old specials, of course, I think are a little better. Like I always liked his bit about the homeless guy on the bus jerking off, threatening, like holding the bus hostage with his sperm, like his cock was a gun. So funny. So anyway, I got Dave Chappelle, number 2.
For sure. So my number 1, and I think one thing that we have in common, I think you mentioned earlier, is our number 1. Both of them have since passed.
Yes, both dead.
Mine is going to be Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say that the line, "I ain't scared of you motherfuckers," is what helped, propel him on up, where he just didn't care.
Right. Well, in my opinion, he was my favorite original King of Comedy.
Yep.
Or whatever, right? Which was like the Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, and D.L. Hughley. Yep. And I like Cedric the Entertainer well enough.
Yeah.
But Bernie Mac was the best, in my opinion.
Easily. I mean, because I don't know what started his show, but I know that he gives kind of an intro to it prior to a show starting on.
Oh, yeah. Larry Wilmore talked about it because he helped co-create it with him.
Oh, really?
Or whatever. And it's basically autobiographical. Like that all, like he adopted his niece and nephew.
I was wondering if it was real. Because he was like, he goes that 2-year-old little motherfucker walking down the stairs like, what the hell are you doing? I'm getting some cookies. No, the fuck you ain't getting some cookies. Get your ass back up. Like it just
right. And that's it. So in his stand up, he mentions them, and then it became his show later.
And I I just picture him actually talking to people that way, no matter what age, because he didn't give a shit.
Well, he had those awesome huge eyes.
Yes, he did.
I don't know, there's something about him that are funny.
I mean, I love his punchline, just the way he delivers things. And that, I don't know, I've watched his old stuff and it's just funny. I could watch the Bernie Mac show all day long. But love Bernie Mac. He's my number one.
All right, my number one, like we mentioned, both dead, is Greg Giraldo. He was on Comedy Central a lot when we were in high school, age time. He died, I think, of an overdose.
I think that's correct.
If you're on YouTube, they have Next Up Greg Giraldo, I think it's the name of it. If you type in Greg Giraldo, it'll come up. And it's like this 45-minute Comedy Central special to him, and it's kind of like goes over his life. Has a little bit of his best bits. But he was like a Harvard law student and decided not to be an attorney and instead to be a stand-up comic. So he was like smart. But he also liked to party a lot. The first thing I guess I saw him in and he became my favorite comic was David Tell's Insomniac Tour. Saw that in high school. It was one of the first things I downloaded, or whatever. And that's where you watched it because you were like, oh yeah, I watched this before.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
And he has this whole bit about bitches and rap videos being better than normal women. Anyway, I just really like Greg Giraldo. And then he became, I guess, he got more fame for being a roaster because of all of like the Donald Trump I don't know if he got done Donald Trump. He might have been dead. But anyway, he done like Larry the Cable Guy and
that one's so hardcore.
Right. He done a lot of them back then. And every time he would come up, and I guess he always got to go first because I was watching this documentary this week and he was always like, oh, I mean, first is the hardest. I got to break the ice. And everyone would get pissed because he would go first because he would always have normally the best jokes. Like the one that they done on Joan Rivers, he like calls someone a hobbit, someone an elf, someone a fairy, and someone else. And then he calls Joan Rivers Gollum. So it's like, we're here at the Lord of the Rings, I guess. But,
yeah.
And, I don't know, he was just so mean.
He didn't care. Again, love it.
He has this other part in there where he went on, Lewis Black used to have a TV show where people just argued political stuff. He like argued against Dennis Leary, and Dennis Leary was like, I thought we just went on there and bullshitted. And he goes, but Greg, I guess, had been studying for a week. And he was like firing him off, and you're like, oh, he's actually smart and funny. So Greg Giraldo, whenever I first put top comedians on our list, I made a memo that day and was like, I can't forget Greg Giraldo because I knew that I might. Yeah. Whatever, right? Because he's been dead for a little while. So anyway, that's my number one. If you haven't seen him, you should look it up. I think he's pretty funny. Yeah.
So what's some honorable mentions you got? Because I know you got a shit ton of them.
So Tom Segura, I mentioned, he has a new special on Netflix. He does this whole thing over people taking away words we get to use, like how we can't say gay or retarded or midget. But it's like he does it in such a perfect way where you're like, you agree. You're like, fuck yeah, we should be able to say those words. So I really like Tom Segura. His like best friend is this dude named Burt Kreischer who has stand-up specials as well. Not on Netflix though. He's really good. I feel like I got to mention like Mitch Hedberg because everyone loves Mitch Hedberg. I didn't put him on my list because, again, as I mentioned before, I know people that like love Mitch Hedberg, and I'm like, yeah, he's good. Daniel Tosh, I loved before he had Tosh.0. I'm not saying I dislike him now, but I remember his stand-up special before he got that show. I was like, this dude is ruthless, and I love it. I like anyone who's mean and can make rape jokes calmly or whatever. I don't know. And Daniel Tosh did all that. And then mentioned earlier, Chris Rock would have been on my list, but
him down too.
His newest special I don't really like, so I didn't put him in my top 5. But his old stuff is all amazing. Yeah, it's like politically aware, and he somehow rides both sides of the fence. Like this whole black people versus N-words is going to be like the most probably talked about thing in comedy ever. Like I bet 100 years from now, people are like, yeah, but there's black people and there's N-words, and just like there's white people and there's white trash or whatever. Right? But it's perfect. I mean, it was just a great joke at the time.
Agreed.
Bo Burnham, I really like. I think you watched a special with me once when we lived together. He was real young at the time. White kid, blonde hair, but he like does a little piano playing and singing with it. But he's just real young and does a lot of wordplay, and you can tell he's smart.
I know exactly. I just looked him up. I as soon as I seen his face,
right. And so like I think once he is like in his 30s, he's probably gonna be like amazing because he's like right now I think in his 20s. But
he just looks like a stoner kid.
Yeah, but anyway, Bo Burnham, he has a Netflix special as well. I think I would highly recommend. And then John Mulaney, also really like. I know we're going to save one for the end. So the legends that I have down here, but I didn't want to put them because like I wasn't really alive when they were famous.
Yeah.
I love George Carlin.
Mhm.
I think he's probably like anyone that's off the George Carlin tree of comedy. Normally what I like.
Yep.
I like Joan Rivers a lot.
Mhm.
Bob Newhart, who played Professor Proton, but all of his old stuff's really funny. Gary Shandling, which you're about to put out a documentary for on HBO that Judd Apatow did.
Really?
When that comes out, I'm sure he'll be in my top 5 because I'll watch it and be like, he was the genius.
Yeah.
And then Moms Mabley, who if you looked up, you probably know. She's that old black lady.
Yep.
That's some of the funniest stuff you'll ever hear, in my opinion. That was like in the 70s, super dirty old black lady. And then I knew we want to bring up the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I watched that DVD because that was when I first came to college. That thing came out.
I came out before that. The first one.
Yes, you are correct.
Second one came out.
Second one came out. Sorry. Second one came out. I do. I think we may both agree on this. Ron White to me is.
Yeah,
I like him over of all 4.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not even close. Ron White over the other 3. Like,
to me,
leaps and bounds. Like, I just don't prefer country humor necessarily. But I will say, I think it was real important. I first heard the original one before DVD even existed yet. I was in Colorado for the summer, and we were driving to Silverton, Colorado, where they have like this old Western-looking town and trains and shit. And my step-grandma was like, hey, you like comedy? And I had a Rodney Carrington CD, which was real dirty, right?
I'm glad you brought up Rodney Carrington.
And I was like, I like comedy. And so she puts in this Blue Collar Comedy Tour. And this was probably, I don't know, I'd have to look at the date the actual DVD came out for the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. But again, this is before anyone I knew had ever seen it, heard about it. And the CD had different material than the DVD, slightly. Basically the same, but like you could tell like they record them at a different place or something or whatever. But it was really funny, and I loved Ron White. And then like a couple months later, the DVD came out, and everyone was yelling, "Get her done!"
Everyone was,
and everyone loved Larry the Cable Guy, and he was funny. But I always just really liked the way Ron White talked. And Bill Engvall, he was funny, but I was like, he seems like a weird dad.
To me, he was never.
Jeff Foxworthy, I always respected what he did, but I didn't like the fact he didn't cuss.
Yeah, he never.
Which is weird as a kid to care, but
yeah.
I was like, I don't know about all that.
You might be a redneck. You know what I mean?
Got that going.
But I know, I've watched and Ron White specials, and it's just, first off, he's always drunk.
Yeah.
Either has a cigar in his hand or something he's smoking. And
well, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, was like, I was arrested with 0.8 grams of marijuana. So I said, well, that isn't any marijuana. And you're like, guy's so funny. And he talked about when he was in the Navy as a kid.
I remember you telling me that.
He was in like Mexico, and he goes, and you would go in the town and for $5, get you a little hand job, a little blow job. He goes, it was great. He goes, and then a couple years ago, I'm in the hotel watching a documentary about the transvestites of so-and-so street. And hey, guess where I used to go with Nikki? Anyway, I really like Ron. He probably should be on top 5, but I haven't seen anything recently or whatever. So I guess it wasn't on my mind. But I loved Ron White.
For sure. Another one that I've watched more recently than anything else is going to be Kevin Hart.
See, I've never watched one of his stand-up specials.
Really? See, I mean, he again has the antics and
see, I don't
that delivery. And
I don't enjoy physical humor,
and I know you don't.
I feel like it's cheap. Now, sure, it can be because I've been watching this week all of the comedy roast battles as well on Comedy Central, and if someone has like a good joke, like this dude says to Ralphie May, who's now dead, he goes, "It's crazy. Your wife's going to divorce you and take half your money when she could just wait 3 months and get all of it." And it's such a mean joke, but like. Ralph May comes back with like, "You like to suck horse cock," and then starts gagging on the microphone. Like, to me, there's no way that's funnier. Yeah. Like, the other one is a well thought out, so fucking deep that it's like, no, you can't do any sort of prop shit to do better than that, right? Now, I do think like Dane Cook, Jim Carrey, there's certain people that use it, and I understand how it aids them. I'm sure Kevin Hart's, I just haven't seen him, but typically I don't like the whole. Let me get a character
and
sort of thing.
It's a lot of looks and facial expressions for Kevin Hart, at least.
I see.
But, I mean, I think you should watch.
I see all the memes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should watch one and see what you like. Another one I have on here, Robin Williams. Some of the, because I watched a video this morning, I have to find it again.
He was crazy, man.
That's what I was going to say. He was just a little nuts.
Yeah, they kind of just like, it was like a top and just let him go. And
It's exactly, that's a great way to explain it. Because you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
And if you really just, for whatever reason, want to get into random history of comedy, CNN has this awesome show, I believe it's on Hulu or Netflix, one of them, of just the history of comedy. And it just a look back at the pioneers of the industry and different things. And he's mentioned on there, Robin Williams, of course. And it's just crazy some of the old, what people used to do. Because like alt comedy, when it was new, it was still like, no, you can literally do whatever you want. As long as it's kind of funny.
We don't give a shit.
Kind of like Whoopi Goldberg was a guest judge on that roast battle thing. And I don't really think of her as a stand-up at all. Because it was like a one-woman act. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I guess it was funny. But I'm like, I don't know if I would call that stand-up. But back then, it was like anything could be. You just got to do. Like, Andy Kaufman was the weirdest motherfucker ever, but people liked him. Or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I also like Aziz Ansari. I guess he's a new guy. Yeah. That, I think he holds a little back, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm like, I feel like you could be meaner. Yeah. Or go at things a little more. But I guess you don't need everyone to be mean. Some people got to be nice.
Some people got to be the nice one, for sure.
But anyway, that's pretty much my list. Next week, the plan is, hopefully, this one mock thing is going to sound decent once I fuck with it. Yeah. We'll see. But next week, the plan is we're going to have KV on the day after he fights, unless he got knocked out into a coma.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
I don't think so. I'm just saying. Yeah. Unless he's like injured and can't make it. That's the plan. And then if this works, we'll use one mock there sub again. Yeah. I think we're going to do top 5 favorite MMA fighters because I felt like he could do that. And I didn't ask him like, oh, dude, top 5, whatever. Random shit that you probably don't care about. So I'll come with a list for that. And then this week, I have spring break. We'll try to get with you. I would like to get some like extra episodes in if we can for the weeks that we might miss. But we're going to see how that all goes.
Especially with me doing the softball stuff.
Right, you might have a tournament one weekend or something. Yeah. So anyway, we'll figure that out. I think we made it past an hour, so I think we're good.
Sweet.
All right, man. Well, that's it.
All right. Peace, guys.
Peace.